All right. Good evening, everyone. The time is 6:02 p.m., and I hereby call this meeting of the Student Senate to order. Begin with a roll call. When I call your name, please say here or present. Iono Dimhoff. Moran. Rahman. Am I close? Okay. Rolls. Jones. Pelzer. O'Connor. Kwiatkowski. Utica. Palin. Moisango. Nievenhoven. Kekun. Azan. Kameyer. Pedasani. Hartley. Shamsai. Verriger. Gopa. Snyder. Momini. Sloop. Pursley. And Cronin. And with that, we do have quorum for this evening. With that, we'll move into the Pledge of Allegiance led by Vice Speaker Pursley. And with that, we'll move right into this evening's Senate program, what it means to be a senator with Speaker Momini.
Try and make this short and fun, and I didn't practice, so if I say a lot of ums like I just did or I stutter, we're gonna pretend like I don't. Thank you so much. I just have, I'm going to be sending this out to everybody as in the form of a Word document. It is just something that I came up and I showed the rules, and we felt like it would be really beneficial to new and even some senators who maybe feel like they still don't know what they're doing when they're here, because that's okay, and that's an okay feeling to have. So we're just gonna go over what it means to be a senator. Right now, everybody sitting at this table is a senator, other than Quinn, and that, that's fine. I'm just saying. So being a senator is a big responsibility. Not only are you here to represent the voice of students, you are here to serve as a connection and a bridge between the constituency council that you sit on. With that, it is important that not only that you're talking to your constituency councilor, but that you're going out and you're talking to the people that you represent, because at the end of the day, that's your job, you're a representative. So there are many things that you can do as a senator. You can write and propose legislation. Obviously, you vote on the legislation. That's what we'll be doing here today. You can do projects on our many committees. We have 9 of them that you can sit on and do projects on, and they're great. We also have the ability to run for leadership positions. That's what me and Josie do, and we do that at the beginning of each term, and I think that it's pretty cool. And then we can also just help make the campus a better space. An in-depth view of our Senate meetings. Senate meetings serve as a time to review, propose, and vote on legislation. You should be asking questions about that legislation, because remember, you're here as a representative. You represent so many people, and just think of all the questions that they would have if they walked in and sat down in your seat. Those are the questions that you should be asking. You should feel entitled to ask those questions and empowered to ask those questions, not only for yourself, but for everybody who voted you or allowed you to be sitting where you are today. Also, we get done when we get done. I know it kind of sucks. I know we all kind of want to go home. You know what? I get it. It's my Wednesday night too, but we're here for a purpose bigger than ourselves, I hope. So unfortunately, sometimes our meetings go a little bit long. Sometimes we're here longer than we want to, but it's for the better of our campus, and I think that's an important fact to acknowledge. So, everything to know about your duties as a senator. I'm sorry this text is small and hard to read, so that makes me sad. Anyways, you have 1 office hour a week from Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the student government office space. Hopefully all of you guys have been down there by now. And notices of absence for this should be sent to the vice speaker because she is the one who will excuse you for them. You also must attend our weekly Senate meetings on Wednesdays, usually at 6 p.m. If they're not at 6 p.m., I will inform you all. And those notices of absence should be sent to the chair, which is our vice president, so that way you can be excused. You also must attend meetings with your constituency council as well as your committee that you must be seated on, and the notices of absence of those should be sent to the respective chairs or presidents. And you can also only sit on 2 internal committees as of right now, and you must obtain 2 outreach credits, and that must be communicated with our director of outreach. He's putting his thumb up right back there. You have to tell him and verify with him that that is qualified as an outreach credit. And that's just something that we do to help senators get out there, get known, and, do a little bit of outreach. Now, what happens if you don't do it? Please just do it. But here's what happens if you don't do it. So right there on the PowerPoint slide and in the Word document that I sent you is a really detailed list of nonfeasances and what happens when you don't do them. For example, if you don't show up to a Senate meeting and don't tell Quinn, you get 1 nonfeasance, a whole nonfeasance. Whereas if you don't show up to, let's say, your committee meeting, it's only half of a nonfeasance. And if you leave early from a committee meeting, it's a quarter of a nonfeasance. So there's just like these specific things that are outlined in our bylaws that tell you what happens if you don't do those things. The speaker can also hand out nonfeasances of duty if they feel like you're not doing your job in other areas. I really don't like to do it. I really hate giving and informing you all that you have nonfeasances. But, it's okay. It's okay when it happens because at the end of the day, we're all people, and more importantly, we're students, and sometimes we forget. But it is important to inform you all that, this is what happens when you don't do the duties that are prescribed to you in the bylaws. And once you occur 2 nonfeasances, there is an investigation in rules. I, as speaker, assign one of the members of rules to investigate you. They come back with those findings, and rules makes an informed decision on that. And I, of course, invite you. You are not obligated to come, but it probably helps if you come, you know what I mean? So you are invited to come and, make your case as well, and then rules makes a decision on that. If you get more than 2 nonfeasances, you'll probably be removed, which makes me sad. So let's just not try it. Okay. Tools to help guide you. The baby bylaws are coming to a location near you very soon, so please be on the lookout for those. Rules and I have been working very hard, and we're very excited to share those with you. You can also just look at chapters 1 and 2 of our official bylaws. They outline all of it. I know that they're long, but it's good to just give it a read anyways. You can also ask myself and Vice Speaker Persley. We're great resources. You also have the advisors, of course. That's what they're here for. You can also ask your committee chair and constituency leaders what they're expecting of you, because they are also able to give you those nonfeasances. And then, of course, always ask questions. And even when you think there isn't a question, you should ask one anyways. Maybe. Don't ask silly questions. Not silly questions, but maybe don't ask me what I had for dinner. You know what I mean? Anyways, but really, what are you doing? Because, that's great, but really, what are you doing? So right here, I just have a list of things that student government has funded and that we've helped initiate on campus. That's anything from the gender-neutral bathrooms in the MU to funding the Universal Changing Station, funding the Rodeo Club and various other student organizations, as well as funding SHOP. So these are things that senators just like you have done, and I hope that we will continue to do as an organization. And then we also have legislation, just regular legislation. It's not all about money. Of course, money's great, and we should give out the money and help people find ways to use that money, but we can also just write legislation that makes changes. There are so many more resolutions than this, but looking through my old legislative packets of 3 years was quite overwhelming. So here's the ones I got for you. We have initiating restorative justice at Iowa State, prioritizing sexual violence prevention, education, and evaluating ISU intersection and enhancing safety measures. These are all resolutions that were passed to bring awareness to issues on campus. And, sometimes funding maybe isn't your thing. Maybe finances scare you like they scare me. And so this is a better way to allocate your hard work and your time is writing a resolution and getting involved with the people on campus and getting to know, what impacts them and what we can do for them. With that, I hope that was short and sweet and not too unbearable for you all. Do I have any questions?
With that, the floor is open for questions. All right, seeing none. Oh, Senator is on.
So I do have a question or maybe a suggestion. You can decide. So I was thinking of things, because the bylaws are actually passed by Senate. So if someone has any suggestions, feedback about any particular bylaws, can you share like a feedback form or something that we can work on, and we can share with all the senators, and then they can provide feedback or something on top of rules, whatever they are doing right now. So I'm just saying, just to accept more feedbacks from the students or the new senators, if they have anything to do, and the rules can work on it, whether it's feasible or not. Maybe like a feedback thing or something, suggestions.
Rules typically goes through every year and reviews the bylaws in depth. That's what our project will be after the baby bylaws. Certainly, if any senators have any concerns, point them out to a member of Rules Committee or join so yourself if you're interested. But we will definitely speak about it in rules, maybe possibly doing some kind of a form like that. But that would also require you all to look at and read the 66 pages of bylaw that we have. So,
Senator Kameyer.
Can I just motion to add all the senators who came in a little late to the roll? Or do I have to state there? Moran, Nievenhoven.
So, I'm sorry, Moran, Nievenhoven, Shamsai?
Mm-hmm. If anyone else came in late, raise your hand. No? Okay, cool.
Here, one second. All right. Are there any objections? Seeing none, they shall be added. So with that, are there any further questions or comments regarding tonight's program?
Can we do a round of applause for Alex presenting?
Okay. All right. So with that, we'll move into open forum. Open forum shall serve as an opportunity for any student to speak about issues relevant to the student body. If anyone is here tonight for open forum, I would ask that you approach the podium at this time. Seeing no one here for open forum, we'll move into adopting this evening's agenda. Is there a motion to do so? Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, the agenda shall be adopted. And we'll move into the approval of the minutes from last Senate. Is there a motion to do so? Is there one of those a second? Moved and seconded to adopt the minutes. Approve the minutes rather. Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, they shall be approved. And with that, we'll move into committee reports, starting with the Rules Committee and Speaker Momini.
okay. I feel like I just talked a lot, so I'm going to keep this really short. We have a meeting tomorrow. We are adamantly working on the baby bylaws, and we are going to have them for you guys soon, and I'm very excited about it. That's all.
With that, the floor is open for questions. Seeing no questions, we'll move on to the Finance Committee. If we don't have a designee from Finance, we'll move on to PR. Oh, we do. I apologize. Are you for Finance?
Yeah.
Awesome, Senator Pedisani.
For finance, we passed some green initiative bills brought to us by Sustainability Committee, and then we also have a Winterfest build out that's going to be on first read on the agenda later today. So that's all we have so far.
With that, the floor is open. Seeing no questions or comments, sorry for being premature. Now we'll move over to PR.
All right. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Other Eric could not make it tonight, so I'm speaking on his behalf for PR. First of all, with marketing, Chase has been doing a great job with this team. They've basically been covering what posts are expected to look like. They've expanded on their roles and have a more in-depth timeline for when and what they're going to post. In terms of outreach, I've actually got quite a bit. Let me switch over. All 115 students who have filled out the interest form have been responded to and referred to the appropriate chairs. We've had quite a few of them actually seated on committees, which is great. I I have an announcement to make about the homecoming kickoff event, which is on October 27th. It's a Sunday. That'll be in the parking lots at the Alumni Center from 11 to 1. I think Quinn and Noah have signed up already. I'm looking for at least 2 to 3 more volunteers for that. We like to have 2 people at the table at all times. It'll be kind of like DIS. We're going to have an interactive event giveaway for students. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make that yet since it's my birthday weekend, so I might be home. I've started to go to other committees' meetings for internal outreach to kind of see what's going on with them, what projects they're working on, offering PR support. And seriously, for all the committee chairs, PR, for lack of a better term, we basically have an army of graphic designers, photographers, and video editors that can help you with your projects and events. Lastly, for outreach, I'd like everybody to look at the outreach chart tonight, please, and see if your outreach credits are up to date, because I know a few of you have been to events and haven't let me know, and I'd like to get those updated as soon as possible. So thank you for doing that in advance. In terms of IT, Danny has let me know that all of your senator pictures have been updated on the site. And Alex has worked on the sustainability page on the website, and it looks great. I saw it tonight at the sustainability meeting. So that's all I got for PR. Any questions?
And with that, the floor is open for questions or comments. Seeing none, we'll move on to the Idea Committee.
So we worked in finalizing our proposal for ISSO and career service for the International Career Fair for next semester. And we also had a meeting with Diney in order to keep some stuff open during the break.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to the Events Committee.
Hi, everyone. Really quick, short and simple. Thank you so much to everyone that helped this weekend for the Big 12 conference. If you volunteered for more than an hour, please come talk to me so I can give you a goodie bag. We have extras. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely you. No, Brad is, of course included in that. But yeah, thank you guys again for all your help and just this general support. I really appreciate it. And so does Holly, but she's in Italy, so you can contact her if you have questions about Italy.
With that, the floor is open. Seeing no questions or comments, we'll move on to the Local Affairs Committee.
Okay, guys, Emily couldn't be here tonight. She's back home in Minnesota for some personal reasons. She's working with her committee members on getting word out about the Message to the Mayor program, and she's developing an agenda for the joint meeting with City Council on November 20th. So be ready to hear more information about that soon.
And with that, the floor is open for questions. Seeing none, we'll move on to sustainability.
All right. Hi, everyone. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Holly and Monet. The Big 12 conference was phenomenal, so congratulations to you both. Yes. Seriously, that is an amazing accomplishment. Genuinely, thank you so much for putting all that time and effort in. Our subcommittees, like I said last week, are underway. We've got a lot of research going on, a lot of talking to faculty members and students about what they want to see on campus in regards to sustainability, which is very exciting. We are also visiting the Shoepan recycling facility on Friday. It is not a student government affiliated trip, but a group of us were invited to go and see how recycling works, which is really exciting and I'm really looking forward to. We are also getting 3 people sat tonight, which is very exciting, and all 3 of them are phenomenal candidates. And I'm excited for you guys to hear from 2 of them. One of them is unable to make it due to a test, which I do not envy her for, but I'll be speaking on her behalf. And then finally, I just want to give a big shout out to Senator Palin for the amazing sustainability section on our website. I pretty much told him what to do, and he did all the hard stuff. So I will take a little bit of credit, but thank you again for doing that and for dealing with my crazy ideas. You guys should definitely take a look at it. It looks so nice. And yeah, that's it.
And with that, the floor is open for questions or comments. Seeing none, we'll move on to health and wellness.
Hello, there we go. Health and Wellness has its meeting tomorrow. The members we're kind of assigned to go out and find some projects that they're interested in. So I'm looking forward to hearing some ideas that they bring, and hopefully we can introduce some of those in the semester. And then secondly, we have one senator and two at-larges that are looking to be seated tonight. I've met with all of them, had really great conversations. They're interested in health and wellness for the right reasons. So I'm excited for you guys to hear from them.
All right, with that, the floor is open for health and wellness. Seeing no discussion, we'll move on to legislative ambassadors.
Okay, you guys are gonna have to bear with me because this is written in first person. Colby would also like to give a big thank you to Monet and Holly for planning the Big 12 conference, so feel free to clap for her again. Yeah. They really did do such a fabulous job. This weekend was amazing. It was such a fun event, and it was great to meet people from other schools. Colby is currently in the process of interviewing more people to be at-larges on the Legislative Ambassadors Committee. They have 6 more wonderful candidates that he will be interviewing in the next week, and he's looking for a few more senators. So again, if you're interested in joining, let him know or let me know. I've made this offer several times, but if you guys want to know anything about it, I can tell you. It is really fun. So, all right, that's it.
With that, the floor is open for any questions. Seeing none, we'll move into that other category. This is an opportunity for any senator to speak about committees, rather, that are not otherwise represented on tonight's agenda. Seeing no input, moving on to comments from the judicial branch. No? All right. With that, comments from our advisor.
Hello. I don't want to thank Holly and Monet. I'm just kidding. But no, great weekend. Thanks for everybody that engaged with all of the members of the Big 12 that was here. From all the feedback that we've gotten from the schools and from everybody that attended, it was one of the better ones that they've been to in the last few years because of the engagement that happened. There were some really great roundtables that I think some of our members here actually took some real good advantage of getting some of those ideas. So as y'all debate tonight, all we want to make sure that y'all know is that we're here to provide any information or any guidance that you need for contacts on campus or other campuses if you're looking to get any other information. But we are here. All of our stuff is on the MIS, as well as you can book times to meet with us through the MIS as well. Thank you.
With that, the floor is open. Seeing no questions or comments, we'll move on to the executive branch with President Hirsch.
Hey guys, I don't have a lot for everyone tonight. I do want to give a special thank you to everyone that made this weekend possible. The Big 12 conference was awesome. We learned so much. We have so many fresh ideas that we're so excited to talk about in the coming weeks for all student government members that will make real benefit to all Iowa State students. But I want to go down the list here of everyone that helped volunteer. And again, there are probably names that I'm going to miss, but I just want to say thank you to everyone. Claire Hosh, Josie Persley, Hamath Pedasani, Mindy Hearn, Samantha Jones, Emily Boland, Ella Amino Demoff. I think I butchered that. I'm sorry, Ella. Braden Fells, Eric Brown, Eric Rolls, Kid O'Driscoll, Kathleen Pelzer, Senator Azan. Thank you, Azan. Jonathan Nievenhoven, Daniel, Noah, Eric Jurdis, Jake Snyder, Alex Momini, Santi, Brad Hill, and Christine Heflin. Thank you so much, everyone. And Monet's going to be really upset here, but let's give another round of applause for her. It was truly such an incredible weekend, and I'm so happy that we were able to show off Iowa State University and all the great things that we're doing on campus. And then one more piece of advice, or one more update that's really relevant, is right now we're in the process of doing interviews for our new student government administrative assistant. And so if you haven't already, please see if your schedule allows you to go to that round table, just so that you can, have better input on who we ultimately end up choosing for that position. We're incredibly excited. It's going to help assist us in all the work that we do for Iowa State University students. Yeah, with that, I don't have any other updates.
With that, the floor is open, starting with Senator Azan.
So, Martin, question. So the candidates are from Iowa State, or they are external candidates, or they are mixed?
There's one internal candidate and there's 3 external. And so the way that it works is that you put together a job description. Iowa State HR puts that out. It has a certain window for people to apply to. So one person that currently works at Iowa State University was interested in that position. Then 3 were external. And then, from there, HR conducts phone interviews. I mean, there's more people that were interested than just the 4 finalists that we have. But then they, do like resume screenings and phone screenings. And then we get to the people that we have now. And we could not be more excited. We've conducted 2 interviews already. Either person would do a great job, and it's going to be really exciting to see who we end up going with. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, with that, are there any further questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll move into our business for this evening. So without external matters, we'll start with internal matters, beginning with Special Order 2024-2-035SG, seating at-larges to the Sustainability Committee with Speaker Momini.
Okay, first I have a friendly for myself, and just for the benefit of the body, I'm going to let you all know it would change their number to 12 and not 11. Other than that, I'm going to invite the 3 people up on the stage to talk about themselves to the podium. Yeah.
Cap for at-larges should be capital. At-larges, maybe we should capitalize it just for consistency.
Gotcha. And then other than that, please do be aware of the second ordered clause that we would be waiving a bylaw. And other than that, I'm going to give the floor to them.
Hi guys, my name is Molly Rogers. I'm a sophomore here at Iowa State. I'm majoring in environmental science with a focus on sustainable agriculture. And I'm really excited for this opportunity to join this committee to just make campus more sustainable, not just environmentally, but socially and economically as well. One of the subcommittees that really stands out to me is the volunteer committee. I volunteered all through high school. And I'm really excited to work with organizations on campus and around Ames as well. So yeah.
All right. And if you each wish to introduce yourself or share whatever, then we can talk collectively.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Evan Baker. I'm a senior in environmental science with minors in landscape management and forestry. I'm really interested in this committee, mainly because of a subcommittee I saw called Native Plants and Prairie. So I think there's some really exciting opportunities that can be done here on campus, especially with some of the research projects that I know are happening close up to Science 2, revolving around prairies and that sort of thing. So very excited to see what we can do in that aspect and get involved.
All right, hi guys again. Sorry, you're gonna have to suffer through my voice. Like I said earlier, I have one person who is applying for, or who is trying to be an at-large, and unfortunately she's got a test, which again, I do not envy at all, personally. But she sends this message. My name is Raquel Tenbrink. I'm gonna be honest, I probably butchered that, so I apologize to her. And I am a junior and majoring in environmental science and political science. In high school, I was involved with the sustainability committee, where I helped to create and implement a composting program at my school, as well as educate the student population about the importance of sustainability. I'm currently on the dog waste subcommittee, or I'm currently interested in the dog waste subcommittee, where they are trying to build dog waste stations at locations on campus, and the sustainability requirement subcommittee, where they're trying to implement a requirement for students to take a sustainability course in certain colleges. And she says that if you guys have any questions, to email her, but I think that we're just going to take questions now. So, yeah.
All right, and so if not, the floor is open for debate, starting with Senator Kameyer.
So this is just a question I had for the director. So I guess I have a few questions, but A is, how big do you want the committee to be? And there's not really a wrong answer to that.
We were thinking originally 10, however, we did find 2 extra candidates that we thought were phenomenal for the position, and we think really add to our committee. We don't necessarily want to cap out anyone, especially if we think that they're going to add to our committee and overall help the campus.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then also I'm wondering what subcommittees sustainability committee has.
Well, I'm glad that you asked. I could talk about this for hours, but I'll keep it short. So essentially, we have a lot going on. Like Evan said earlier, we have Native Prairie. So our campus is already absolutely stunning. However, we also have to make sure that it's absolutely stunning for the pollinators, because they are in fact important to not only our campus but to the world. As we all know, hopefully, the bees are endangered, and especially in Iowa. Iowa was over 80% prairie But then we came, and now it's less than 1%, which is terrifying, and part of the reason why I'm in environmental science personally. So we have that. We also have compostable cutlery. So if you guys are in Hawthorne or Clydes, you'll see that is Abby, the other co-director's project. She worked very hard last year and this year in order to get this project done, as well as, I'm blanking on everything I've ever said in my entire life. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. We can also send you the agendas as well if you'd like to learn more about it.
All right, Senator Azan.
I just want to share with new senators. So typically we do have a precedent in Senate of not passing the candidate if the candidate is not present in Senate, just to give you all opportunity to ask questions if someone has questions. So that was happened in past last year, but I just want to say it, here. So we can make a motion as well to remove Senator Raquel, and she can come next week, and then we can ask questions to that candidate too. So motion to remove Senator Raquel. Object. For what?
Point of information, Raquel is at a test, and I don't feel that she should not be able to sit on the committee because she's at a test this week. It's not like she just didn't want to come. It's that
But
she couldn't
can
come.
next week, right?
I still object,
guess
and that was my point of
additional-
information.
Yeah, I was going to say additional point of information. We've passed at-larges like in this session that have not been present. This wouldn't be the first one.
Okay, then I withdraw then. I mean, if the senators are okay. But I do have questions with the senators, so.
Pardon? I'm sorry, Azan, did you have questions that you're wishing to ask now, or? Okay, Speaker Momini.
All right, gathering my thoughts. Yes, for new senators, we usually do like to have at-larges or senators present at their confirmation to a committee. However, it is precedent that if they are not here, that they send in a statement. And I fully support the passing of this bill with the 3 people on it. I completely trust our co-directors to pick wonderful people for sustainability. I think they're doing wonderful things this year. So with that, call to question.
Moved and seconded to end debate. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, closing comments with Speaker Momini. UC has been called for. All right. Takes me a second, Azan. All right, and so it's been moved for a roll call vote. When I call your name, please say yes, no, or you may abstain. Iono Dimhoff. Yes. Moran. Yes. Rahman. Yes. Rolls. Yes. Jones. Senator Jones? Yes. Pelzer? Yes. O'Connor? Yes. Kwiatkowski? Yes. Palin? Yes. Moisango? Yes. Nievenhoven? Kekun? Yes. Azan? Yes. Kiemeyer? Yes. Pedasani? Yes. Hartley? Yes. Shamsai? Yes. Verger? Yes. Snyder? Yep. Momedy? Yes. Nandal? Yes. Sloop? Yes. Pursley? Yes. And Cronin. Yes. 1 moment. All right, and so with a vote of 24 to 0 to 1, congratulations, the motion carries. We'll now move on to item 2024-2-036SG, seating at-larges to the Health and Wellness Committee with Vice Speaker Pursley.
This is an at-large bill for health and wellness, and our 2 candidates can come up and say a little bit about themselves.
Hi, I'm Grace Pavnika. I'm currently a sophomore in biology, minoring in psychology. I recently became aware of the Health and Wellness Committee through SHOP. I volunteer there weekly, and I just became interested in what they do, and I just wanted to bring more students aware of what the Health and Wellness Committee does and what they do throughout the Iowa State, and how students can take advantage of what the health and wellness community does. So, thank you.
Hi, I'm Macy Yinger, and I'm a sophomore majoring in biology with a minor in pharmacology and toxicology. I was introduced to this student government, in particular this committee, because of a peer recommended this from the student board with health and wellness. I'm interested in this committee because I've been a CNA for 3.5 years, and I plan to have a future career as a doctor, so I've been in the healthcare realm for a good while. I would love to dedicate my knowledge, time, and efforts to this committee and better the programs for Iowa State students.
All right, so with that, the floor is open for debate, starting with Senator Azan.
Can you guys use any adjective to describe yourself in one word?
One adjective, I would describe myself as empathetic. Being a CNA, you have to put yourselves in other shoes for a lot of the times, and you're working with the elderly, and just having an empathetic mind and going to like these interactions with a positive attitude and mindset really sets you apart and makes it a positive experience for both of you.
This isn't necessarily one word, but I would say that I take initiative. When I find out about something that interests me, such as the Student Health and Wellness Committee, I learn more about it, and I try to get involved in campus in ways that are passionate to me, and this is one of those.
Awesome. So my second question would be, can you talk about any ideas or any specific project that you want to work on in health and wellness?
I would love to work on the safety walk, particularly because last year as a freshman, I was walking everywhere to and from classes, and at late night classes, it would be dark, and it wasn't particularly safe feeling at certain parts of the campus, especially being, a woman. So any way we can help alleviate that issue is very important to me.
Volunteering at SHOP has made me aware of food insecurity on our campus, and I do think that many students that do have food insecurity don't know what steps and resources they can take while on campus in order to help with that. So I just specifically, I know SHOP was recently brought into the Health and Wellness Committee, so I'm more interested in bringing that out to students.
Thank you. I yield.
With that, the floor is open. Moved and seconded to end debate at this time. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, closing comments with Vice Speaker Persley. Seeing no closing comments, UC has been called for. Are there any objections to passing these nominees by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objections, congratulations, the motion carries. Next, we'll see item 2024-2-037SG, seating a senator to the Health and Wellness Committee with Senator Pedisani.
Hello. This bill is basically seating me onto the Health and Wellness Committee and waiving bylaw 3.2.5, which limits me to being on 2 internal committees for student government. This would add a third one onto my total number.
All right, and with that, the floor is open, starting with Senator Kameyer.
As we have a proposal to amend that bylaw, is there any chance we can wait a week on this bill?
There are currently quite a few things that we are trying to work on at Health and Wellness Committee, and it would be great if I would have a voting seat to be able to impact those things and have a more impactful voice than just being an outsider sitting in on Health and Wellness Committee.
Okay. Can I ask the director your thoughts?
Could you be more specific with your question?
Just like, would it really hurt if we waited a week to appoint Heymeth to Health and Wellness?
I think he brings a good point. Like you said, we're trying to work on a lot of projects. Senator Azan said we could rearrange the agenda if that's possible. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of your guys' call.
Can we rearrange the agenda, Speaker Mommy? Or is it's probably, I don't know.
To answer your question, we could technically table this or move it down on the agenda, but I'm not sure if there's a point. This kind of has to, like, I feel like if I answer this the way that I want to answer it, it's going to get into the debate opinions that I have on that bylaw change itself, which is that we don't know if it's going to pass. So I don't know if we should penalize Senator Pedasani for that when we could pass this and then it wouldn't matter either way.
And I would
like
also
it's just for
I
his
guess
seating.
Point of information, you can still waive it even if the other one doesn't pass.
Yeah, this is just waiving it because as our bylaws stand right now, he's not allowed to sit on health and wellness, which is why there's an ordered clause saying that we would waive the bylaws.
And I would also like to point out, I have been sitting in Health and Wellness Committee meetings for about 3 weeks now. So I do have the time to be there, and I have been present at the entirety of every meeting. So that should not be a problem as well. That is built
I was going to say, I don't doubt your time commitment or ability.
I know some people have doubted that. I would like to bring that up as well.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question? Like, we can move it down on the agenda, but the bill is written in a way that we would have to make an amendment on the bill if we moved it down on the agenda. So we would have to amend the agenda, and then when it came back, if that bill passed, we would have to amend the ordered clause. It would just be like a little bit more work when we could just pass it how it is now and everything would be fine.
I mean, I'll say it'd be like an extra 10 seconds, but I'll let someone else say something.
I would entertain a motion to add Senator Gopa to the roll. Are there any objections? Oh, is that what it was? Perfect. Seeing no objections, he shall be added. Senator Azan is next.
I'm fine if Senator Kamayar want to make a motion, I will second that. It's not a big deal. We can move it down. We can have a discussion on this bill, whether we need to extend the number of senators. And then we can bring it up again, or we can table it, and then we can bring it up again at the end of the session. So it's not a big deal. If you want to make a motion, I can second it, but I'm fine with whatever right now is. So.
Okay. Senator Sham Saeed.
Okay. I have one question. Why you are interested in this committee? And I personally disagree with putting senator in a more than 2 committee. But right now for this rule, I just want to ask you why you are interested in this committee, and what's your plan for this committee?
The biggest reason I want to join this committee is because of the proposal that was put forth by Anna Svan, the previous Director of Health and Wellness, regarding a sexual violence awareness and prevention proposal, and to help aid rolling that out and then to put that idea out into fruition rather than just leaving it as a proposal and an idea, because of certain things that have come to light. Certain things have come to my attention early on in the year that certain people in my life are not who I thought they were, and I want to help roll that proposal out to make sure the people that commit those acts are aware of the punishments and repercussions of their actions, and people don't have to be quiet about and silence their voices because of all these actions and the stereotypical mindset of what will happen if I was to put my voice out there and say something about what happened to me.
All right, Speaker Momini.
Alrighty, I'm going to take this time to inform everybody a little bit about what waiving the bylaws are and why we waive them. In my opinion, we waive the bylaws for cases where the bylaws are usually followed, but there's like a 1 or a 2 off situation where it's like, okay, that bylaw doesn't make sense in this situation, just like we saw in the sustainability bill. where it was like, okay, usually sustainability is fine with 10 at-larges, but right now they need 12, so let's waive this bylaw so these 2 people can be sat. This is the same thing for why the bylaw is being waived for Pedasani. In my 3 years of being in this wonderful organization, there are only 2 senators who have ever wanted to be on more than 2 internal committees, and here's one and here's the other. I'm so sorry to call you out, Kameyer. They are the only 2 senators that have voiced and wanted or had the time, I am so impressed, who had the time to be on 3 committees. You know, obviously I just went over in that little program what happens if you don't show up to your committee meetings, which could lead to you, you know, being removed. Yikes. So they are the only people who I know who have the time and, you know, the bandwidth to be on those things. That's why we talked about this in rules, why we preferred to just waive the bylaw rather than change it. Sometimes it's better to just let precedent stand and acknowledge that our bylaws may not accommodate every situation, and that's why we have the ability to waive them. So that's why this was done in the ordered clause, so that way everybody can be aware that we're waiving the bylaws, and that's the reasoning why we waived the bylaw for the bill. Because it's, from my experience, just not normal that senators sit on 3 internal committees, because that's a time commitment that a lot of people don't have. You know, like technically I'm supposed to, I technically have a seat on every committee as a non-voting member, but unfortunately I don't have the bandwidth or the time to go and sit on all those wonderful committees. So it's just the reality of the situation. With that, I yield.
Vice Speaker Pursley.
I would just like to personally put my confidence behind Pedasani. I think he will do great on 3 committees. Like Alex said, I don't think anyone else has ever expressed the interest to do that, and so I applaud his drive. And I also agree that since no one else has really expressed this interest, a bylaw waive is appropriate for this situation. I yield.
Senator Azan.
I do believe that both of these senators, Senator Kameyer and Senator Pedasani, will do a great job in all these committees. So I don't know how they manage it, but they do it. So if they are willing to contribute more to the cause of student body, let them get involved more. So with that motion, call of question, by the way.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded to end debate. Are there any objections to doing so? Ironically, closing comments, Senator Pedasani. What? Sorry?
I have none.
All right. You can technically do that. All right. I did not. UC has been called for, thank you. Are there any objections to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objections, congratulations, the motion carries. With that, we'll move into general orders, starting with item 2024-2-005Y, allowing 3 internal committees for senators with Senator Kameyer.
Okay, I'll update that. Is there anyone else who is having trouble accessing the bill? Just raise your hand or, okay. Okay. That's what I tried to do, but I don't know if it worked. Nope.
Okay, it sounds like that's working for folks now. Sounds like we're good. And Senator Kameyer, it's still your opening.
Yeah, sorry. If there's anyone else who is having trouble accessing the bill, genuinely just raise your hand, say hi, Azan, okay. Okay, hopefully I fixed it. Yeah. Can you try refreshing it? I think I got it to work, but I could be wrong. No? Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, hopefully everyone's on there now. Sorry about that. So we've already kind of talked about this, but this is a bylaw change to allow senators to be seated on 3 internal committees. And I guess I'll just say, just because it may seem like there are only 2 senators interested, that doesn't mean that that is necessarily true. And also, this would make it more permanent, so in the future we wouldn't have to continue to waive bylaws. So yeah, I'm open to any and all questions. Yeah.
And with that, the floor is open, starting with Speaker Momini.
So first, this was sent no bias from rules, but we did have a very long and thorough discussion, and everybody in rules was opposed to passing this bylaw, but we didn't want, like, we still know that it's up to you guys at the end of the day. If you as senators feel like maybe somebody other than the 2 people will want to sit on 3 internal committees, then, you know, that's how you all feel. We did try and advocate for reaching out to you guys beforehand, because I don't see a reason to change something permanently in our governing documents that only 2 people want to change. I just feel very strongly that there is a reason that we are able to waive our bylaws, and it is for things like this. I don't see the point of changing the bylaws for something 2 people specifically when we could waive it just like we did for Penasati. The problem is solved. He is sat to the committee that he wants to be sat on, and we didn't have to permanently change the bylaws. I think that waiving the bylaws is a great tool, and that we should utilize it. And if it gets to the point where, like, haven't we waived that 15 times, maybe then you should change it. But if it's 2 people, I just don't see the point of changing something permanently, especially in my past, I've been here for 3 sessions, and I've only seen a bylaw waive very rarely. I think that in the past it was shunned that you should waive bylaws, but I don't think that's how it should be. I think that there's a reason that we are able to waive them, especially for something like this. It's not like we're overruling something major. We're just saying this specific person has this specific need, and if it's feasible for them and they can show up to those 3 committees, then why not allow them to do that? The 2 internal committees in the bylaws, I think, serve as a point to show that you guys as senators have duties, you guys have obligations, you guys have your constituency council meetings, you have your committee meetings already, and then you also have your office hours, and you have this Senate meeting right here. That's already a lot, and not to get into too much specifics, but me and Josie have already been thinking about ways that we could open up to more, things that could be suggested or even done that isn't in the realm of a committee. Committee meetings are great, but, there's other things that you could be doing with your time, and that's kind of why things are allocated the way that they are. So that way you guys don't overexert yourselves. I think sometimes we forget that we're students first, and we're here to get an education, and that's very important. And I think that, obviously Pedasani was able to show, I'm there for the health and wellness meetings. They just happen to be in the office during my office hours, and I see him there, and I know that he can make it, and he's communicating with them, and it works for him. And I think that if a senator can show that, then it's worthy of having a bylaw passed rather than a bylaw changed. And with that, I yield.
Senator Azan.
I do agree with Speaker Momine. I personally oppose the idea of having the bylaw change. First of all, it's overwhelming having this 3 number on the bylaws. It's just, we can always go back, and if any senator is interested, we can do waive the bylaws, just like we did right now. But putting this on a piece of document, on a government document, is too much to ask, especially this 3 number. It's a lot of commitment. So we can do it on an individual basis based on senator interest, and then we can ask questions to that senator individually, and then figure out whether they have time to commit for that job. So that, I think, we should oppose this bill, and I'm going to oppose this bill. With that, I yield.
Senator Pedisani.
It's kind of ironic that I'm going to go against this bill because as Speaker Momney said, that it is probably not in the best interest of student government, as we would have to renumber all the seats of how many people are seated on each committee, as we would have to, as we go from 2 to 3, we have to be able to give people the opportunity to have more seats within the committee to be able to be seated onto. And as she said, thus far, there are only 2 senators in her entire student government career that have done this. So I don't think it's the best idea unless we have like many more senators show interest that they would like to be seated onto 3 committees. Until then, I don't think it's the best of ideas to pass this bill and have a bylaw change.
All right, Senator Gopa.
Yeah, I'm opposed to this bill as well, but why do we even have a cap on this? Why can't we just make it unlimited committees? Like, does it really matter to you guys if there's 3 committees you want to be on? Like, and we're anyway going to see them up here. We're gonna vote them into these committees and giving them the option to go. We wouldn't have this conversation ever again if we wouldn't have to write a bill. We wouldn't have to think about this ever again. It's really on the at-large seating. So I would entertain the motion to like change it to unlimited committee seats.
All right, folks. There has been a motion to amend this to say.
Objection.
There's not been a second. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Is there a second?
Object.
All right. Who objected? I apologize. Do you wish to state the nature of your objection?
I just feel like it's there for a reason. Those seats are, capped for a reason, and our bylaws are there for a reason. So I think we just leave it as is.
Yeah, that's just stating things.
That's why I objected. Okay. So, am I confused? Okay.
So yeah, it was moved and seconded, moved, seconded, and objected to. I'll give you the opportunity to withdraw, Senator Gopa, if you wish.
Yeah.
All right. And so if that's the end of your speaking privilege, Senator Gopa, Senator Iono Dimhoff.
Just had a quick question for Senator Kammeier. So it says many senators have shown interest. I was just wondering, are we not aware of anyone else coming forth interested?
Many technically means more than one. Okay, anyway, can I just say for the record that, okay, so on the polling thing that Speaker Momney brought up, we have not, at least as far as I am aware, there's no precedent of ever doing that for any bylaw change. So I'm not technically, I could have done it, I guess, but that wasn't suggested until after first read. Also, the thing that Senator Pedisani brought up was increasing the number of seats that are available for senators to sit on in each committee. I have the numbers for those if anyone is curious. But as of right now, that's also not actually necessary, and that would require another bylaw change. So, yeah.
All right, Senator Jones.
My question was, what committees are you on, and then what committee do you want to join?
I am currently on finance and student services / events, and I'm completely open. If anyone wants me on their committee, let me know.
All right, so did you have any other? Just wanted to check with you. Speaker Momney.
First, I'm going to go to the most recent thing. I suggested the polling because then you would be able to have a basis for saying many senators, because then you would know what they thought. That was why I said that. And then to Gopa's comment about making it infinite, think of how chaotic a committee meeting would be. We have caps so that way we are efficient, and because we recognize that as an organization, we only have a certain amount of members and they have an allocated seat on those committees. And if we had infinite, like if everybody could just join every committee, think of a rules committee meeting with everybody here, we would get nothing done. Rules would go nowhere. You want to know why? Because there'd be too much debate. There's such a thing as too much debate. And so that's why our committees have limits. That's how come certain committees don't have limits, like legislative ambassadors, because they go to the Capitol and there's so many more people to talk to. Whereas our committees, most of them have limits because, for one, we have a limited amount of people who can sit on them. And for two, we want to make sure that we're doing the most efficient work for the students that we represent. And I think that making it infinite would take away from our efficiency, as well as just imagine the removal process or the seating process. I think it would be a nightmare, if I'm being honest. So with that, I yield.
Senator Rolls.
I kind of agree with Alex on this. It is, while I do get the initiative behind it, when you have such a small group that actually want this to happen, I feel like it's not, the precedence and like need really isn't there to kind of have a sort of like organization-wide change when we can, especially when we have the ability to just kind of waive it and just kind of push off to the side for right now. And I mean, that's not permanent, so you guys do come back in, well, what would be the next term, whatever next term, that kind of expires. So you have to get resat to the committee, and if they're already full, that bylaw would need to be waived again. And if it's still you same too, it's not really a big deal, I don't think. And it's like, I don't think we need the precedent to have senators think they need to be on 3, when I mean, a good majority of our current senators are really only on 1. So, I think that's all I got.
All right, Senator Pedisani.
I would also like to point out that majority of senators are currently seated on 1, as Senator Rolls stated, but also you brought up a point of that we wouldn't need to renumber the amount of seats we have. We would, because we have a capacity of 36 senators that can be 36 senators in total. We are currently at 28, if I am not wrong. And if we hit that 36.
No, we do not. I have renumbers available, but you can keep going.
We would still need to be renumbering each committee, because we do not need to have inefficiency within not inefficiency, but we do not need people that want to be on committees that cannot be on those committees because of that limited cap space, because they're meant for people that can only be seated onto 2 committees while we're changing it to 3. But it also sets a precedent of people want to not have the baseline, and at the bare minimum, people would like to seem a lot more they seem like they're doing a bit more work, so they would probably the precedent would be set to be on an average of 2 committees, which would cause people to have a lot more strain on themselves mentally and physically because of all the work they're putting through with committee meetings, with 2 committee meetings, office hours, were Senate meetings, then constituency council meetings, along with classes. First and foremost, everyone is a student here. You and I have the bandwidth. Not many other people do. You have to also take that into consideration.
Am I allowed to answer to that?
It would require speaking privilege.
Okay.
And if so, I'll come right back to you. Senator Hartley.
So I'm confused. You would or you wouldn't need to renumber the amount of senators on committees? And then if you would or people want you to, what are those numbers?
Yay, finally I can answer this. Okay, so first of all, we have 36 senators at full capacity. If we reach that, hopefully we do. And there are only 44 possibilities for like Senate spots like open in committees. So as of right now, actually, if we had a full Senate and everyone's required one committee, only 8 senators could be on 2 committees. So that should be pointed out. And then second of all, we wouldn't need to renumber it just because of the fact that we don't have a full Senate and not everyone is in 2 committees, and we would be able to make room. And then do you want to know what the numbers are?
Yes, please.
Okay, so right now, okay, originally I was going to make a joke and say we were just going to add 30 senators to rules, but that's not true. So rules is staying as is, which if you're curious is currently 5. Health and wellness would, and again, these would be separate bylaw changes, which are not in the bill. But my idea is to increase health and wellness to 7, so that would increase it by 3 seats. Increase the IDEA committee to 7, increasing it by 3 seats. Increasing sustainability to 10, increasing it by 4 seats. Local affairs to 8, increasing it by 3 seats. Finance to 6, so increasing it by 1 seat. PR to 10, increasing it by 3 seats. And then events/student services also to 10, increasing it by 3 seats.
All right. Senator Rolls, did you have something else, or was that from? All right. Senator Kekun?
Okay. I'm a bit new here, so speaking for the first time. I think maybe we are kind of overbeating the issue. For me personally, I don't see any need for us to change a standing rule because many reasons have actually been brought forth. Like, number one, we are all students at first, and also the rules could also be to protect us, to protect you as an official or a senator here. Some persons may be carried away by zeal, and that could have some other effect somewhere else. Secondly, also, I think the speaker mentioned about being effective. Is it Peter Sani made his reason? He said why he wanted to be on that committee, and I found it to be really convincing. It would be a great idea that if anyone wants an extra, to really put forth their reasons why they want to be on that committee. And if it's convincing enough, I think many persons here are going to support it, and it's going to pass. Maybe the bylaw will be waived. Yeah. So for future purposes, I would say, I think it's better to leave things the way they are. Yeah.
Second.
All right. And I would note, I apologize, you'd reach both of your 2 speaking privileges anyways. Oh, okay, perfect. Moved and, hold on a second. Moved and seconded to end debate. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, closing comments with Senator Kammeier.
To be honest, I was going to jokingly ask for UC. That's not going to happen. So I'll just say vote as your heart desires.
All right, and on that note, roll call has been called for, and so when I call your name, please say yes, no, and of course you may abstain. Iono Dimhoff. Moran. Rahman. Rolls. Jones. Pelzer. O'Connor.
No.
Kwiatkowski. Palin. Moisango. Nievenhoven. Kekun?
No.
Azan?
No.
Kammeier?
Move me down.
Pedasani?
Move me down.
Hartley? Shamsai? Verriger? Gopa? Snyder?
Abstain.
Momini? Nandel? Sloop? Pursley? And Cronin. Okay, going back to Kammeier. Pedasani.
Abstain.
Kameyer. 1 second while we tally that. All right, and so with a final vote of 2 to 16 to 7, the motion fails. With that, if we can refocus here for a moment, we'll move on to 2024-2-001 SR, Inspiring Voting Outreach to Encourage Democracy on Campus, aka the I Voted on Campus resolution with Senator Kameyer.
I'm sad.
Pardon, that is the extent of your opening comments. All right. And with that, the floor is open for debate, starting with Speaker Momedy.
I'm really sorry. Despite all the slander that I just gave Kameyer over his last bill, I think that this resolution is wonderful. I think that it's beautifully done. I love the acronym. That's my favorite part. I think that we should all give it a read. In the past, a previous vice speaker, when we had a resolution, went through and read all the whereas and resolve clause, but I'm not going to put you all through that, but you should read them. I think that it's beautifully done, and I think that it shows great initiative, and I appreciate everything that Senator Kameyer does. I yield.
Vice Speaker Pursley.
So it states in the whereas and resolved clause that student government encourages students to register to vote. How might student government do this? Like, what specifically can we do?
Yeah, so an idea I had originally was to work with PR committee to just display where polling sites are on campus and just having that information out there so that whether you're on campus, off campus, somewhere else, just that you know where to go to vote on election day. And then also just by reposting information that the CAT Center has been pouring out for the last few months in terms of registering to vote, whether it's here in Iowa or out of state.
Do you think it would be beneficial for Iowa State student government's Instagram to post voting day or something similar?
Yeah.
Cool.
Here, and you can direct that over here if you wish.
Yeah. Cool. Is this on? Okay.
All right, Senator Azan.
First of all, Senator Kameyer, don't get upset. We love discussion. It's a great resolution. So I do have a question for you, follow-up question for you. Are you comfortable having added this as whereas, whatever you said, that the PR of a student government will work on this outreach, share the post and everything? Are you comfortable to be specific on the resolution? Because right now what I can see is, I love that. Thank you. So we can, whoever is doing it. Yes, Speaker Momney? Awesome. So we can make a motion on this and then we can update that. Because that will be more specific, what we want to achieve through this bill. That will be amazing to have it. With that, I yield.
All right, Speaker Momney, you are next anyways.
Since PR says that they are already going to be posting information for students and advocating for voter outreach, I just added a resolve clause that the PR committee uses this resolution as well to show the Senate support of outreach and going to vote. Yeah, my brain's a little bit done for the night. So I motion to add the final resolve clause after Persley is done adding this.
I think I heard a second. Okay, let's give it one moment so we can see what the full line is.
So the final resolve clause would read that the PR committee uses this resolution to circulate voter registration encouragement on our website/media pages.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to amend, or rather add, that final resolve clause there. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing none, the amendment shall be made. We're now back on the bill as a whole. So, is there a second? Moved and seconded to end debate. At this time, are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, closing comments with Senator Kammeier.
I'll just say an idea that we just had was to do tabling. There's also volunteer opportunities with the CAT Center if you want to do tabling for registering people to vote or just voter outreach in general. Yeah, so I am going to, again, not call for a UC vote, but instead call for a placard vote because I don't believe that the new senators have gotten the chance to do one yet. And also it looks really cool for PR. So if whoever has the camera wants to get that ready, that would be awesome. Did you already put it away? Okay. You can do what you want. Don't listen to me.
Are you still wishing for a placard vote for clarity?
Yes.
All right. And so we'll do a placard vote. For those of you who are new, yes, no, or abstain, but you'll just be raising your placard higher so I can see it. Those in favor? All right, those opposed? Awesome. Those opposed? And any abstentions? Okay, 1 second. Technical difficulties, folks. Yes. All right, yes. So we were having this number not match the number of people we should have had on the roll, so we wanted to make sure we were correct in counting. All right. So with a final vote of 26 to 0, the motion carries. So with that, we'll move into our new business for this evening, starting with item 2024-2-006Y, updating the bylaws to reflect a sergeant in arms position with Speaker Momini.
I'm sorry. I'm really confused because I can't count. So give me a second. Okay. So a couple of weeks ago, we had somebody come in for a program explaining kind of what a sergeant in arm is, and this is kind of validating that. It is a bylaw bill that I wrote. This would serve to add a section. So if you look at our bylaws currently, every single thing, like there's a section in chapter 2 that says what I have to put on the agenda, and then underneath that, every single thing is outlined of what they are and what they consist of, other than roll call in the Pledge of Allegiance. Precedent has been that the speaker does it. Clearly, I don't do it. And so this would just kind of, not only would it create a relationship with ROTC that I think would be beneficial, it would also just kind of give us something to put into our bylaws that says what it is. Like, you know, obviously, I don't think all of us are going to disappear overnight and quit or something. But if we did, then the people who would come and look at our bylaws would know what to do with the Pledge of Allegiance. I also want to point out that the last ordered clause says that this position would not start until the third session of the current year. So that would be like December, January, something like that. That's just so ROTC has time to solidify the position themselves as well as give us a representative. If the bill is to pass, I think it's pretty cool. That's all I got.
With that, the floor is open for questions of intent, starting with Senator Snyder.
Oh, it's more of a question. It's less of a question, more of a point, I suppose.
Can it be a question?
Yes, it can.
Great.
I just would first like to reiterate the points I made on the initial discussion of the topic. I don't think this is a relevant connection despite it not existing. I think that we can use the precedent that currently exists without having a formal bylaw correction or change. I think that we should I would make a motion to table this for at least another week, if not indefinitely, because I don't feel it's a relationship that we as a student organization need. We do not fund ROTC financially, and we don't have a current pre-existing relationship with them, and I don't see a reason for us to elaborate and extend to one now.
Is there a question?
No, there is not.
Okay.
Point of information then.
Okay.
It's gotta be a question, you guys. All right. Senator Gopa.
So I also gotta agree with Senator Snyder. So we are.
Is there a question?
I'm gonna get there.
Okay.
Give me a second. Student government is a funding and advocacy organization. We are not part. We are not something that needs representatives from a military training group.
Point of information, it's not a representative.
A formal position from a military training group. Yeah, I phrased that right. Anyway, so my question is, could we write something in the bylaws where the speaker has the choice to choose someone to say, to recite the Pledge of Allegiance instead?
Yes.
Okay. Senator Iono Dimhoff.
My question was, would this position be held by one individual, or is it going to be like a rotating position? What does it look like?
Can you make it a yes or no question?
Is one individual holding this position throughout the session?
No. Point of information, ROTC would choose the person, and I believe that it would be per semester.
All right. Senator Gopa, I do apologize. It's one question of intent, unless someone yielded their question to you. Awesome. Senator Kammeier.
I yield my question to Senator Gopa.
All right, go ahead.
So there are 4 different officer units of the ROTC. How would they have their internal, these groups never meet with each other. They're their own independent groups. So how would they even decide, the person who brought this forward was part of the Army ROTC, it used to be part of the Army ROTC. These 4 groups of the ROTC never meet with each other. So how would they decide who they want to put forward for this position? Would there be a process where we would decide, would there be a process we would delegate them if we decided to move this forward?
Yes, that's in the bill.
All right, with that, the floor is open for any further questions of intent.
Call the question.
All right, I appreciate the enthusiasm. This is on first read, so seeing no further questions of intent, this will return next week, and you can vote on it then. With that, we'll move on to item 2024-2-002J, congratulating the co-directors of events on a successful Big 12 Student Government Conference with Speaker Momini.
Looky here, something I hope isn't controversial. Please, during this next week, take the time to read this bill. It's pretty cool. Can I make a friendly right now? Or does it have to wait? I know, I don't know. I'm gonna wait. Okay, next week I will have a co-author. I forgot to add Vice Speaker Persley's name, so that's what my friendly was. That will happen next week. Other than that, I'm open to questions if you have any.
The floor is open for questions of intent, starting with Senator Kammeier.
Can we give Monet another round of applause?
Yes.
Senator Azan.
That's just point of information. Excuse me, sorry. Can we see the bill without having a second co-sponsor, a senator, on the first read? Are we violating any bylaws or anything?
It does have a co-sponsor. I just didn't put her name on the bill.
I mean, you can make a motion, or we can just wait it.
We're just gonna wait.
So are you tabling this bill then?
No, it will come back on second. We read next week, but I'm not going to make a friendly or an amendment until then because I'm not sure if I can. So I'm just going to play it safe and wait until next week.
It's just murky whether
I just
or not
want to
we can make a
double check the
change.
proceedings on this one too. We're not violating any bylaws, right?
No.
Or anything. Awesome, thank you.
All right, with that, the floor is open for any further questions of intent. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 2024-2-002SR, hiring an additional full-time doctor or physician's assistant, PA, for the Thielen Student Health Center with Senator Azan.
Again, guys, this bill is on first read, so if you have any suggestions, you can also reach out to me after, the Senate. So I reach out to the Thielen Health Center to get their feedback on this, and they are on board on this idea. So the population of student body is increasing, especially in this year, but the staff number is not increasing. And there's these cases, a student anecdote about struggling to get same-day appointment with the basic stuff. So this resolution is just asking the university administration to consider this as priority to hire additional doctor or PA at Thielen Health Center.
All right, with that, the floor is open. Seeing no questions of intent, this item will return next week, and we'll move on to item 2024-2-003SR with Senator Kammeier.
I motion to table the bill for 3 weeks.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to table 003SR for, I believe you said 3 weeks. Are there any objections?
We want to ensure that we can provide everyone here with the correct and accurate information. So we want 3 weeks to gather that.
Second point of inquiry, why 3 weeks specifically?
If we do it 1 week, I feel like that's not enough time. If it's 2 weeks, it's our Halloween meeting, and that's awkward. So 3 weeks is what I went with.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, this item shall be tabled for 3 weeks. And with that, we'll move on to our last item of business for this evening, 2024-2-02F, funding for Winterfest, with Senator Pedisani.
This bill is for funding Winterfest. They're requesting funding for food and beverages and decorations for Winterfest, as you guys can see at the line items. So.
All right, with that, the floor is open for questions of intent, starting with Senator Azan.
I am assuming Winterfest is a sponsor organization, so they didn't apply for annual allocation for this event specifically? Did they apply?
Yes, they are a sponsored organization.
Did they apply for the funding through annual allocation for this specific event?
We usually fund.
Yes, no, or?
Yes.
Or an I don't know option.
Could you repeat your question?
Did they apply for through annual allocation for this specific event?
I do not know.
Okay.
All right, and with that, the floor is still open. Seeing no further questions of intent, this item will return next week. And so if that, we'll move into general closing announcements. Very rarely does that happen. No general closing announcements. Oh, all right. There you go, Brad.
I really just did it because I wanted to hear Martin go, I'm just kidding. No, I think there's some exciting times going to be happening this weekend. Your Cyclones are going to look to go 7-0. for the first time in a long time, right? So knowing that's, 60, it was like 80 years for 6-0. Yeah, something like that. The union had only been open for 11 years at that point. So that being said, go out, support your Cyclones this week. Coach Campbell, the team are working really hard. They would really, I'm sure, appreciate your support this year. But I also saw something today that Iowa State University is actually the only university in the United States that has, I believe it's 5 teams in the top 10 of the nation, which is wrestling, football, basketball men, basketball women's, cross country. And so that is exciting times. So, get out there, your student government representatives, and try to make sure that all of our students are supporting our Cyclones.
All right, and with that, are there any further general closing announcements? Senator Azan.
I was expecting that probably Brad will talk about this, but he didn't. So Kristen shared a form, a poster in the group. We Lead Conference. It's on Saturday, October 26, 1 to 5 at Campanile. So if you have time, go attend it. You're going to love it. And actually, it's sponsored by Student Gov too. So this is for the audience that is looking online. So, just want to say it loud.
All right, any final closing announcements? All right, seeing. Pardon? Do you want to talk about it? All right, and so I have just 1 or 2 general closing announcements. You can talk about it if you want. It's something we'll send out more information. I think Speaker Momney referred to it a little bit earlier, but 2 weeks from tonight, we'll be doing something of a fun Halloween meeting. And so if you wish to dress up, within reason for that, I'll have more information for you. And we'll have placards printed ahead of time with whatever you choose to go or dress as, just to have kind of a fun meeting for Halloween. Something we've been trying to do for a couple years, but we never quite got the timing right. Yeah, and at some point we'll get you a real one too. That'll happen. But I think with that, I'll be sending more information, or Speaker Momney will be, and with that, I'll yield to the Vice Speaker.
Please do your office hours. If you don't know how to do it, email me, and R.I.P. William Payne.
Alrighty, y'all. So I am going to be sending out that Word document that I presented in a PowerPoint format. Please use it, and if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out and contact me. I am going to figure out how to do the mail merge on Word so I can get all of our lovely new senators name tags. I'll probably get everybody a new name tags because I don't love the font, in my opinion. Okay, yes. Anyways, so with that, this is also the official notification that we have a working meeting next week. The working meeting will start at 5:30 p.m. in this room. If you do not send me a notification 24 hours before why you cannot come to our working meeting, unless it's an emergency, obviously, like, if a goldfish dies and you need to go home and cry, and that's 2 hours before, I understand. Other than that, other than something like that, it will constitute, I believe, half of a nonfeasance or a quarter of a nonfeasance. It's in the PowerPoint. It's a half of a nonfeasance. So that would be unfortunate. Please come. It's going to be so fun, I promise. We are going to be looking at some funky bills that are written, and I just want to have debate. Quinn said that he'll chair it for me so I don't have to do the Roberts rules. And it will also give you all an opportunity to learn about Roberts rules and then all the different, most of the bill types that we have. So please look forward to that. I will send it out in the legislative packet reminding you all. Please don't forget. Please come. And other than that, yes, Halloween meeting, you should dress up. You should dress up. Or I'll be disappointed. With that, motion to adjourn. Go Cyclones.
We are adjourned. See you next week.